Matin. So he says, the person said, no, effort is futile. It's worthless. However, it's a decree of the king. We gotta do ishtadut. But ishtadut does not bring our bracha to us. Hashem brings our bracha to us. And he says, all our efforts, the person has to understand, does not help him at all in achieving what his goal is. For it is Hashem who determines his livelihood. By engaging in ishtadlut, you're like fulfilling the decree of the king. Because Hashem decreed that He cannot send us our sustenance only if we do exertion. As the pasuk says in Yov, Adam la'amal yulad, a man is born to toil. Dilo ala'eh lo achil. And the sages tell us, if you do not toil, you cannot eat. So therefore, once a person has done his ishtadut and does his effort by engaging in some occupation, and then what? You should know, after this, then you should rely on Hashem. Now you fulfilled the decree. You have the prerequisites. Now you should wait for the bracha of Hashem, but you should know it's coming from Hashem, not from your achievements, not from your ishtadlut, right? Person, he thinks only if you're a doctor or a lawyer you can make money. Only if you go to college you can make money, right? And he doesn't realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has a bracha set aside for you. So he can give you that bracha regardless. It's all a matter of, right now, just choosing what ishtadut is good for you. Hashem has to give you, and your ishtadut doesn't make your bracha comes closer. You're just mekayem gzat hamelech. You're just fulfilling the decree of the king. So therefore, kemamar katuv, gol al Hashem darkecha uftach halav uyase. Pasuk Tehillim chapter 37 says, commit your way to Hashem, rely on Him, and He will act. What do we see from here? That it means that by committing your way to Hashem, by working on your occupation for His sake, once you do your occupation, rely on Him, and Hashem will grant you your sustenance. So therefore, a person has to realize that there's many ways that the Baruch Hu give you, and it all depends on if you deserve the bracha and you have the merit. Ishtadlut is a separate thing that we have to go and fulfill the decree. A person should try to get ishtadlut that's close to his home. You get ishtadlut that he can make his hours for learning. You make ishtadlut where he enjoys it, so he doesn't suffer so much. But you have to do ishtadlut. But the main thing is, let me just get it over with. That way I can wait for Hashem's bracha and I could go back to doing mitzvot. And a person should not be busy thinking work is a big part of his life. You know, in America they can mislead us to thinking that, oh, what do you do? Meaning, ask a person, what do you do? The right away tells you his occupation, right? Oh, I am my occupation. No, you have your occupation. I'm a soul searcher. I'm an Eved Hashem. That's what I am. What are you? Your only work? That's all your life is just work? They have a question. In Europe, they have a different lifestyle than us. We have they close during the day, in the middle of the day to rest. They care about their lives more than their money. And they say, do you work for it to live or you live for it to work? The person has to ask himself that question, because don't let work be more than just a decree of the king. Don't let it get more than that. It's supposed to be just that. Don't let it become more that you'll take over your entire life. The Gemara says the Bavlim are tipshaei, they're foolish. They eat bread with bread. They eat porridge with bread, which doesn't make sense. But the Chassid masters, the Baalei Musar, they explain, what does it mean they eat bread with bread? You ask them when they're eating bread on the table, why are you eating bread on the table? So they have to go to work. When they're working, why are you working? So I can put bread on the table. It's a cycle that never ends. Work for it to eat for it to work. Work for it to eat for it to work. Then tachlis, what comes out from this? You could retire. And then what? You go to Lamaba, and then what? What does all this working do for you? Well, it was building to something. You were bringing home parnasah to take care of your family, to make them do mitzvot, for you to be able to support them in the chachamim. What was the next step? Well, just for it to work for it because I have millions in the account? What is the point? What is the end goal of all this? Did you uplift this whole purpose, make it holy? That's a question a person ask himself. And the question you have to also ask himself is that we have to have bitachon in Hashem and not in our ishtadlut. There was a story of the Bet Halevi where he saw a student that he didn't see in a long time. And during the conversation they said, what are you doing these days? What are you up to? Asked the Bet Halevi to his student. So the student said, Baruch Hashem, I got married, I have a few children. He says, okay, but what are you doing these days? And the student thought maybe he's talking about his parnasah. He says, Rebbe, Baruch Hashem, I have a business. The Bet Halevi says, no, you don't understand what I'm asking you. What do you do today? What are you doing? You told me everything that Hashem did for you. You told me how Hashem gave you a wife, and He gave you kids, and He gave you parnasah. I want to know, what are you doing? What are you doing to deserve all this? What are you doing to get the zechut to have this? All that stuff, it comes from Hashem. I want to know what you're doing. And therefore, he says, tell me about your Torah learning, tell me about your praying, tell me about your chesed. I want to know what really you did to get this bracha. You think that this ishtadlut that you did, that's what gave you the bracha. No, Hashem did that for you. I want to know what you do, what zechut you have. That's your real ishtadlut. The real ishtadlut that brings the bracha is not this that you go to 9 to 5. 9 to 5 is just fulfilling the decree of the king. The real doing, the real ishtadlut is the zechut to get the bracha from Hashem.